Welcome to week 6 of psychology. So for this week, we do not have a live e-session due to the fact that we have standardized testing this week. So instead, I have a recording to go over the content that is found in chapter 13. So for learning targets for this week, you have I can describe theories on motivation, and you should be able to describe theories on emotion. Chapter 13 starts off with displaying a map of different countries and their happiness level. So as you can see on this map, the darker red indicates countries that are more happy. The countries that are more in green are less happy. Based on the study, they found that countries that are happier share some of the same characteristics. And these characteristics are both personal and political liberty and confidence in the honesty and efficacy of their government. Some governments have worked to increase the happiness levels of their country. So that's a huge indicator for them. This week we're going to be studying motivation. So what is motivation? Motivation answers why people do things they do. So a motive is a stimulus that moves a person to behave in a way designed to accomplish a specific goal. And this goal could be because of a need, or it could be because of a drive. So a need is a condition in which we require something we lack. It could be a biological need, it could be a psychological need. So a biological need is something that we need to survive, like oxygen, food, or sleep. Whereas a psychological goal is something that we want to achieve to increase our self-esteem. So drives, too, can both be biological and psychological. And a drive is forces that motivate an organism to take an action. There's several different theories on motivation. So there's the instinct theory, which believes that behavior patterns genetically transmit from generation to generation. These are also known as fixed action patterns. Not all animals have this type of behavior, and psychologists once believed that all human action was instinctual, but now today most do not believe it's necessarily instinctual. Another theory on motivation is the drive reduction theory. So people and animals experience a drive arising from a need as an unpleasant tension. They learn to do whatever they need to that will reduce this tension, such as eating to reduce the hunger drive. So homeostasis is that tendency to maintain an internal state of equilibrium. The drive reduction theory does not 100% explain all motivational factors. Another theory on motivation is the humanistic theory. Humanists argue that humans are also motivated by the conscious desire for personal growth and artistic fulfillment. In fact, they may outweigh our drive to meet our basic needs. So self-actualization, the need to become what one believes he or she is capable of being. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is displayed on the right here in the pyramid, he believed that striving to become or do something meaningful is essential to human well-being as food. So he created a hierarchy of needs from basic psychological to self-actualization. However, many critics argue that this hierarchy does not necessarily apply to everyone. Then there's also the social cultural theory. So even if basic drives such as hunger are inborn, cultural experience and factors influence the behavior that people use to satisfy those drives. So let's look at this individual as far as eating. So is that your idea of a food pyramid? Technically, it's on obelisk, meaning he's a bigger guy. Went a little fast. So hunger drive. So biological needs are based mainly on body tissue needs, such as needs for food, water, air, temperature regulation, and body avoidance. They can be complex because they also involve psychological factors, and your hypothalamus really kind of controls that drive as far as hunger and how we process whether or not we are hungry or not in our brain. So statistically speaking, weight gain and weight in general is an issue for Americans. Compared to their peers in the early 1970s, about 4 times as many children and 3 times as many teenagers are overweight. However, fewer children and teenagers have weight problems than adults. As metabolism slows with age, people often fail to adjust to the amount of food they're eating. So when you get older, it's harder for you to lose weight naturally compared to when you're younger. Okay, so what is obesity? Sorry, keep skipping ahead. So more than 6 out of 10 adults are overweight, while 3 out of 10 are obese. So weighing more than 30% greater than their recommended weight is what we consider to be obese. Obese people suffer more illnesses than non-obese, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, gallbladder disease, gout, respiratory problems, and certain other types of cancer. Weight control is often elusive for most obese people. Some causes of obesity is a lot of times it runs in families, but is not necessarily inherited. Certain genes may prevent the message of having eaten enough to the brain. Genes also determine how many fat cells a person has, and genes determine metabolic rate. So psychological factors such as stress and personal circumstances, such as family gatherings, can increase food intake as well. So losing weight, psychologists and other professionals have worked to devise strategies for weight loss. Not everyone should lose weight, however. A sound diet is one that is sensible, realistic, and well planned. So eating foods that are low in fat sets a good precedent for a lifetime of healthy eating. Nutritional information is important, and increasing exercise can help you burn calories and increase your metabolism. In order to keep off that weight that you lost, it's hard work. You got to keep it up. You got to keep watching what you eat, and you need to have a good approach to exercising in order to keep that weight off. So stimulus motive. So we experience psychological needs as well as biological needs. Some psychological needs motivate us to reduce tension or stimulus. Other psychological needs actually lead us to increase the amount of stimulus we experience. So stimulus motives are the desires for stimulation. So sensory deprivation is the absence of stimulus. So students who are placed in a situation of sensory deprivation become very bored, irritable. They can even hallucinate. They reported extreme boredom and disorientation for some time. The absence of stimuli, students who are placed in this, like I said, reported disorientation for some time. Can you think of any time that maybe happened to you? Oh, it's going too fast again. So exploration and manipulation. So most people are motivated to explore their immediate surroundings. Once people become sufficiently comfortable with their environment, they seek new stimulus, and many psychologists believe that exploration and manipulation are reinforcing in and of itself. Another theory as far as motivation is the achievement theory. The drive to get ahead, tackle challenging situations, and meet high personal standards of success. People with higher achievement motivation make better grades and make more money than others. Some types of goals could be extrinsic, such as good grades, good income. They can be intrinsic, which are self-satisfaction. The development of achievement motivation is the attitude of the parents and caregivers can play a crucial role. Parents may encourage a child to find his or her own answers, or may reward good grades or punish bad grades. So making things fit, many psychologists' needs are aimed at reducing stimulus or attention, especially in interactions with people. So these types of psychological needs are based on people's needs to maintain balance between their personal beliefs, actions, and thoughts. So cognitive consistency. Cognitive consistency is the thinking and behaving in a way that fits what an individual believes and how others expect that individual to think or behave. Most people prefer that the pieces of their lives fit together and feel better when they're in an important relationship and when their lives are stable and orderly. The balance theory is that people need to organize their perceptions, opinions, and beliefs in a harmonious manner and maintain cognitive balance by holding consistent views and having friends who hold those similar views. When someone we care about disagrees with us, it can create an uncomfortable state. As far as cognitive dissonance theory. People are motivated to reduce this inconsistency of their thoughts and behaviors, and suggest that people have a basic disagreement may seek to reduce this dissonance by trying to pretend the differences between them are unimportant, or even by denying that a difference exists. Affiliation, so, is the desire to join with others and to be part of something larger. People make friends, join groups, participate in activities. Affiliation motivates us and helps keep families, groups, and nations together. Sometimes a strong need for affiliation might be a sign of anxiety. The desire to affiliate with a group can lead people to disregard their own perceptions. As far as the nature of our emotions, so shifting from motivation to emotions, positive emotions such as happiness, love make us feel worthwhile and worth living, while negative emotions such as fear and sadness can make life more difficult. Some emotions arise in response to a certain situation. Emotions have biological, cognitive, and behavioral components as well. And theories try to group together these emotions into different categories. So happiness. James said that the motive behind everything that people do is how to gain, how to keep, and how to recover happiness. People who are happy think the world is happier, safer place, make decisions more readily, and report greater satisfaction in their life. Happier people are more likely to help others. Anger. A common response to an insult or attack. It can make a person seem out of control. Most people get angry at an alleged offense, especially those that seem deliberate or thoughtless. Small annoyances such as loud noise or bad odor can cause anger, and being assertive instead of hostile can diffuse anger. Facial expressions. People can read other people's facial expressions and tell what emotions they're feeling just by their facial expression. And this is cross-cultural, meaning that a smile means the same thing in any country. Certain facial expressions seem to suggest the same emotion in all people. Like I said, they're universal. So looking at these emotions, you can tell what these people are feeling just by looking at their facial expressions on their face. So James, continuing on about him, James Lange theory is named for William James and Carl Lange, who proposed similar theories about the same time. Emotions follow behavior, and people can change their feelings by changing their behavior. You have the Cannon-Bard theory, which is named after Walter Cannon and Philip Bard. Emotions are triggered by external stimuli, and emotions and bodily responses occur at the same time. So basically what these theorists are arguing on is, does the emotion happen first or second? So does it follow a behavior, or did it happen first and then you responded to it? So all emotions have similar bodily responses, and people label their emotions based on their cognitive appraisal of the situation. So for this week, what you're going to be examining is explaining your motivation. So you have a quiz on the chapter content, and then you have one assignment you need to do. So what you need to do is you need to describe what motivates you. You need to connect what motivates you to the table that's found on page 377, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. So describe which of the 7 types of motivation drives you the most. Use specific examples describing how this motivator helps shape your life, and then you're going to respond to 2 classmates in an engaging manner. Remember, not saying good post or this is what you need to fix with your post, but in a way that's encouraging a further discussion. So this is the chart I'm talking about on page 377. So each of the bullet points represents a theory on motivation. So you want to connect your motivator to one of these 7 theories. Okay, and I'm going to end the recording here, and I will have this underneath the recorded session for you to watch since there is no live e-session during week 6.